6,805 days ago, something momentous happened. Find out what and why and what that means for all of us today on Life's Potluck Buffet. I'm John Paulus. Thanks for joining me. On April 23rd, 2005, Javed Karim, one of the three co-founders of YouTube, uploaded a video to the newly founded platform called Me at the Zoo. As of today, that video has 296,881,037 views. And Javed's YouTube channel, at Javed, has 4.22 million subscribers and one video. And this is the only video. Really appreciate that about it. So today we're going to talk about what this first video means for us today and what it meant for the history of YouTube when it was uploaded. And I'm going to ask the cards to give us a prompt to help us talk about it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how the way that you start things is the way that they end. Always the case. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to take the cards out of the pack. And I have the 55 Life's Potluck Buffet cards, and I'll smooth them out a little bit because you know how I like to do this so that there are no gaps in the cards so I don't end up picking the same card 2 days in a row, though that happens anyway because the cards like to mess with me, so, and rightfully so. Okay, so I'm going to do the three casual shuffles, as I call it, just kind of, rearranging cards from the front and back with my left hand as I hold the cards in my right hand. And there's three. And then I will shuffle the cards. Here we go. I always back away from the mic because, it blows up the mic when you shuffle cards in front of it. Okay. All right. And I then look for the gap. Oh, here's a card that it's telling me to pick up. It's card 17. Everything that happens to us is only partly our doing. There is no amount of plotting or planning that will result in us navigating our world exactly as we think we want to. Get in your ship, set a course, weigh anchor, and open your heart to the idea that you have been in the right port at the right time before and you will be again. Name an unexpected opportunity that you said yes to that changed things for you. This is a great card for today, and as always, the cards have a good thought about it. This was that opportunity, clearly, for the founders of YouTube, and I'm sure if you ask them that they would tell you that no amount of plotting or planning could tell them exactly what was going to go on. There are things we can look at, however, that give us a clue about the future, and they're predictive, and we don't realize it because we think, oh, well, that was just that thing. The future will be different. So let me explain what I mean about Me at the Zoo. Me at the Zoo is a short. It's 19 seconds long. It would take, and that would be thought of, okay, the hope probably was that, long form videos would be more common. This was just a kind of short little thing. However, what Javed set into motion by creating a short was setting YouTube on its future course from which and to which it would return. So think about it now. It's only been recently, in the last couple of years, that YouTube Shorts have been far and away the kind of biggest thing on YouTube, the big new thing on YouTube. And what is the content? A lot of those shorts, they're reaction videos to other videos, to so on and so forth. And the Me at the Zoo video was a proto reaction video. Before there were videos to react to on YouTube, all there was to react to were elephants in the zoo. I think it's the San Diego Zoo. I think I heard that in an interview somewhere. But nonetheless, that was the only thing there was to react to, was reality. There were no videos yet, so that's what you have. You basically have a video of elephants in a reaction short by Javed. And that basically says that when you start things that way, that means that it's so hard to get away from the way we start things. And I say this to a lot of people, I've said it a lot of times in a lot of different contexts, is that the way an organization, a platform, a project, anything, sometimes a career, starts, sets it off on its course that will, in a sense, be its permanent course. And it's not always the content of that start, it's not always the place of that start, but when we look back, we can always see what that beginning has predicted. And if we can practice understanding from a beginning what the elements of it are, then we have a lot better chance of predicting our futures. And don't get me wrong, the cards are saying today that everything that happens to us is only partly our doing. I talked about this on another episode where I was talking about 80% of what we do is outside of our control, and about 20% of what happens in our lives is in our control. So that's the same percentage, and the cards are reminding me this today, that's the same percentage that we can predict the future. So I would say when we set out on a project and we do something and we put it out there, there's 20% of that project that we can be aware of, that's our doing, that will be part of the future. Of course, in hindsight, we can read onto all of the things that would happen, as is the case with me at the zoo, where here we have a 19-second short that's a reaction video that is the first video on YouTube. It would be close to, 17 years later when 19-second reaction videos became what YouTube was almost about in a certain way, or at least a big thing. So when you're starting a project, or you're starting some job, or you're starting a business or an organization, be aware of what you are saying by the structure and content and people that are involved. Because the way that you start something is inevitably the way that something ends. With this knowledge in hand, you can really make some powerful choices when you start something. And when things go right or wrong down the road, always return to the beginning and see how things were set in motion, what the first move was that you made. It's a little bit like a chess move. Whatever the opening is sets out how things possibly turn out. It eliminates a good number of options. But even more than that, it actually says, because it's a conscious decision that we're making and a choice that we're making, as to say, have a video that's 19 seconds long, that's me at the zoo reacting to the elephants. That in that conscious choice, or even if that choice is unconscious, are the seeds of every single thing that's going to happen to that business, organization, that job. And being aware of that is critical to the success of everything we're doing. So today, when you have a moment, think about an organization, a job, a business, a project that you have started or you've been there at the start of, and think about what the idea involved was, what the people involved were, and that will give you a powerful insight into why things are as they are in the present and why things will be like they will be in the future. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time on Life's Potluck Buffet.